Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are immersing ourselves in something a bit different. Not geopolitics, not history, but pure logistical planning.
Yeah, that's right. We're diving into these really specific kind of personal notes on fish keeping.
It looks like a complete strategic analysis, really. Exploring, keeping, and, importantly, breeding Mbuna Cichlids.
Exactly. It's not just a shopping list. It's more like a plan from someone revisiting an old idea, a long-held ambition, maybe. And the notes really dig into the hurdles, you know, money, biology, logistics stuff that stopped the project before.
Asking that question, is now the time to finally make it happen?
Pretty much.
Okay, so our mission for you today is to really unpack that strategy. We want to pull out the key practical bits, the cost details, which quite surprising, actually.
Yeah.
And look at this big pivot the note taker makes later on. So by the end of this, you should have a really clear idea of what it takes to get this specific fish project off the ground.
And just to set the scene, the notes are all about Mbuna Cichlids. You know, those beautiful rock-dwelling fish from Lake Malawi.
The ones you see in stores often. The bright yellow ones, the blue and black patterned ones.
Those are the ones apparently quite common in stores, which is part of why this whole thing seems doable in the first place.
Okay, let's get into it then. The notes are pretty clear. The big goal here is breeding.
Yep.
But right away, there's this huge, fundamental challenge. You can't easily tell the males from the females just by looking at them.
Right. That's the crux of it. It's called sexual monomorphism in the fish-keeping world.
Okay.
So unlike some fish where the males are, way bigger or flashier, Mbunas often look almost identical, especially the young ones.
So that one biological fact kind of dictates the whole plan for breeding, doesn't it?
It really does. Your standard approach of just, buying a pair.
Goes right out the window.
Exactly. You can't guarantee you've got a male and a female if you can't tell them apart visually.
So what was the workaround? The notes must have had a plan.
Oh, yeah. The plan they came up with is, well, it's sort of brute force but effective. It just got loads of them.
Loads. How many?
The notes talk about acquiring about 20 individual fish.
20. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The idea is that with that many, statistically, you're almost guaranteed to have both males and females in the group.
And then you just let them sort it out themselves. Pair up naturally.
Precisely. It takes the guesswork, the human error of trying to sex them completely out of the equation.
Still, 20 fish feels like a massive upfront commitment, especially for a hobbyist. Just to maybe get one breeding pair, that's a risk.
It is a serious commitment, yeah. And the notes actually confirm that this was basically the sticking point before.
Oh, okay.
The whole plan got shelved because it just seemed too big, maybe too complex. They ended up focusing on other species, perhaps ones that were a bit easier.
But what's interesting now is the feeling in the notes. It seems like there's a shift. The person writing feels like maybe now they have the time or the space or the money. There's this clear line. Perhaps now is the right time to revisit this idea.
Right. The strategy itself, the 20-fish plan, hasn't changed. It's just the confidence, maybe, to actually do it this time.
Yeah, exactly. And that confidence, that willingness to try again, leads right into the practical side. The logistics, the cost breakdown.
And this is where it gets really interesting, especially with the numbers. It kind of justifies taking that 20-fish gamble.
Let's talk about the money then.
Yeah.
The notes use Malaysian ringgit, MYR. Now, for listeners maybe not familiar, we should probably give some context.
Yeah, good point. So based on the notes, the standard price for one Mbuna Cichlid is about MYR3.
And MYR3 is what? Less than a US dollar, roughly, depending on the exchange rate, obviously?
Yeah, significantly less. So right off the bat, we're talking about individual fish that are really quite inexpensive.
Okay, that changes things, doesn't it? Suddenly buying 20 doesn't sound quite as financially terrifying if each one costs so little.
It definitely lowers the stakes. And this is the really clever part highlighted in the notes. There's a specific discount structure at the store.
A bulk discount.
Exactly. And it lines up perfectly with that 20-fish breeding strategy we were just talking about.
How much does the price drop?
It drops significantly from MYR3 down to MYR2 per fish.
Wow, a third off.
Yep. But you have to buy in bulk, specifically, the notes say, between 10 and 20 fish.
Okay, so that 33% discount is basically the financial nudge needed to make the big 20-fish strategy work.
Precisely. It backs the whole plan financially.
So let's just calculate that. If they go ahead with the 20-fish plan at the discounted price, that's only MYR 40 total.
40 ringgit, yeah. It's an incredibly small amount of money to kickstart a whole breeding program.
The financial barrier is almost negligible at that point.
Which is why that bulk strategy makes so much sense on paper. The money you save by getting the discount pretty much covers the risk of buying maybe a few more fish than you strictly need right away.
Okay, but let me push back on that a bit. Buying in bulk, especially if you're aiming for a discount, doesn't that mean you might end up with, less healthy fish?
That's a really fair point.
The notes say a typical store tank has maybe 20 to 30 Mbunas of each color. If you go in and buy 20 just to clear their inventory, which the notes mention the owner likes.
It does say the owner is more happy if you help them to clear their inventory as fast as possible.
Right. So are you potentially sacrificing quality?
Yeah.
Not getting the best, healthiest fish because you're just taking whatever's left to get the deal and the numbers.
That is a critical consideration anytime you buy livestock in bulk, definitely. Well, the note about the happy owner suggests maybe a smooth transaction.
Yeah.
It does underline your point. Is the priority the discount and the number needed for sexing, over maybe picking the best individual specimens? The whole plan really hinges on that store having 20 decent, healthy fish available consistently.
Okay, so the logistics seem sound enough. Fish are available, cost is super low, the biology demands volume. But then, just as we think it's all systems go for the big breeding project, the notes take a sharp turn, a major strategic pivot.
Yeah, this is where it gets really fascinating. The focus shifts completely. Instead of gearing up for the big MYR 40 investment and the breeding setup,
They scale it way, way back.
massively back, from talking about 20 fish down to planning to acquire just 2.
2 fish. After planning for 20. Why? What's the thinking behind that sudden caution?
It seems the caution is all about a new factor. Location, location, location. The notes specify the purpose for these 2 fish is to test their suitability for the outdoor pond environment.
Outdoor pond. Okay, that is a huge change. The original plan, you'd assume, was for an indoor tank, right? Stable conditions?
Exactly. Controlled temperature, filtration, light, all the usual stuff for tropical fish.
Moving a fish like a Mbuna Cichlid, which comes from Lake Malawi, famously stable environment, into an outdoor pond. That sounds risky. Volatile.
Immense risk. You're introducing so many variables that just don't exist indoors.
So what exactly are these 2 little test fish going up against?
Well, we need to think about what an outdoor pond means versus an indoor tank. First big one, temperature swings.
Right. Day to night, season to season.
Yeah. Mbunas need warm water. They have minimum temperatures they can tolerate. A sudden cold snap overnight, especially,
Would be lethal. Instantly kill the test fish.
and invalidate the whole idea right there. Then you've got other things. Sunlight, UV exposure can stress fish.
Predation too, surely. Birds, cats.
Absolutely. Local wildlife, that wouldn't be an issue indoors. Even large insects, maybe. And water chemistry. Rain changes things fast. pH, hardness.
Things that are super stable in Lake Malawi.
And things you control in an indoor tank. An outdoor pond loses that stability. Runoff, acid rain. It all impacts the water.
So these 2 fish are basically like canaries in a coal mine. Environmental sensors.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. Their job isn't to start breeding, it's just to see if they can survive.
It's a viability test. Pure and simple.
That seems to be the takeaway, yes. The priority isn't getting pairs anymore. It's just basic survival in this new, challenging environment.
It shows the note-takers thinking strategically, though.
Yeah.
Even at MYR2, a fish losing 20 fish because the environment is wrong is a waste of time, effort, and money.
Exactly. Testing with 2 first is fiscally responsible and smart from a planning perspective.
So if we tie this all together from the notes, it paints a clear picture. There are these 2 strong but kind of conflicting currents. You've got the affordable, high-volume breeding strategy driven by the fish's biology and the store's pricing.
The original big plan.
Versus this immediate need for a cautious, small-scale test because of this new idea of using an outdoor pond.
Yeah, summarizing what we sort of dug out of these notes, the fish are hard to sex visually, which leads to this buy 20 plan.
Made cheap by the MYR2 bulk price.
Right. But the current immediate step isn't that. It's this cautious buy 2 test, focused entirely on seeing if they can even handle a high-risk outdoor pond. Survival first, breeding later.
That pivot is really the key takeaway, I think. We started by analyzing how to get them to pair up.
And ended up analyzing how to just keep them alive outside.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to consider.
Yeah, building on that, if the main concern now is testing this suitability for the outdoor pond environment, let's say the 2 test fish do okay, they survive.
Right, test successful.
So the note taker decides, okay, let's go for the 20 now. But think about this. What specific environmental challenges, maybe localized things that those first two fish just happen to handle okay?
Like maybe a slightly sheltered spot, or they were tougher individuals.
Exactly. Could those same factors become major problems, real bottlenecks, when you suddenly introduce a whole population of 20 fish? Things like maybe limited hiding spots, or competition for food in that specific pond setup, or even waste buildup.
Good point. An environment that can support 2 fish might not necessarily support 20 or allow them to thrive and breed long term.
The initial test just shows it's possible, maybe, but managing a whole colony, a growing population of tropical fish in an unpredictable outdoor setting, that's where the real challenge, the next deep dive, truly begins.
A lot to think about there. The complexity ramps up quickly.